While Ferrari was polishing chrome and Lamborghini was counting money, Mopar was in Detroit basements building absolute savages that could smoke a McLaren for the price of a Honda Civic. These aren't the muscle cars you know. These are the underground legends that made millionaire supercar owners question their life choices. I'm about to show you 10 factory-built monsters that broke physics, shattered egos, and somehow flew under everyone's radar. Number 7 will make you sell your Tesla. Here's what's about to happen. We're diving into the vault of American automotive chaos. Each of these cars has a story that'll make you wonder how the automotive press missed the biggest performance revolution in history. We're talking about a compact car that embarrassed Porsches, a luxury sedan that made BMW engineers cry, and a truck, yes, a truck, that was faster than a Corvette. But here's the controversy nobody talks about. Mopar didn't just build fast cars. They built cars so fast that other manufacturers literally complained to the racing authorities. Some of these were banned from competition, not because they cheated, but because they were too good. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand why real gearheads whisper Mopar's name with respect, and why collectors are now paying supercar money for cars that used to sell for peanuts. Starting our countdown at number 10, the 1969 Dodge Dart GTS 440, or as physics professors call it, impossible. Picture this. You take a car that weighs 3,200 pounds, basically a modern Civic, and you cram a 440 cubic inch V8 that makes 375 horsepower on paper, but actually pumps out over 400. The result? 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds when a Porsche 911 needed 8. Here's the insane part. Dodge didn't advertise this combination. It was a hush-hush deal between dealers and drag racers. No air conditioning, no power steering, no comfort features, just pure, unfiltered violence wrapped in sheet metal. The Dart 440 came with a warning from the factory, not recommended for inexperienced drivers. Translation, this car will try to kill you, and it might succeed, but man, what a way to go. Quarter-mile times, low 13s all day long, smoking Camaros and Mustangs that cost twice as much. It was David with a rocket launcher taking on Goliath. Number 9 will blow your mind. The 1963 Plymouth Belvedere Max Wedge. This car was so ahead of its time, it makes modern muscle cars look like they're standing still. 1963. Think about that year. JFK was president, the Beatles were just getting started, and Plymouth was building a 426 cubic inch monster with dual 4-barrel carburetors and factory headers. This was before the GTO, before the Mustang, before anyone even knew what a muscle car was. Here's the kicker. It came with a warning label in the trunk that read, "Not intended for street use." Plymouth literally built a race car, put license plates on it, and sold it to anyone with cash. 425 horsepower, and that number was a lie. Real dyno tests showed these engines making closer to 500. On drag slicks, the Max Wedge ran low 12 seconds in the quarter mile. In 1963, that's faster than most modern sports cars. The automotive press ignored it because it didn't fit their narrative. They were waiting for the muscle car era to begin, not realizing it had already started in Plymouth's engineering department. Number 8 is where Mopar proved they could build a car that would smoke you in a 3-piece suit. The 1970 Chrysler 300 Hurst. This wasn't just a muscle car, this was a statement. Imagine rolling up to a country club in what looks like a banker's car, complete with leather seats, air conditioning, and enough chrome to blind a satellite. Then imagine that same car running a 15.7-second quarter mile and having enough torque to tow a yacht. Only 501 were ever made, each one hand-finished with a fiberglass hood, gold accents, and a 440 TNT V8 pushing 375 horsepower. But here's what made it special. It had the low-end grunt to embarrass sports cars from a stoplight, but you could drive it to a board meeting without anyone suspecting you were packing heat under the hood. Car and Driver called it surprisingly quick for something so luxurious. What they meant was, holy crap, this thing is fast and we didn't see it coming. The 300 Hurst was Mopar's answer to the question nobody asked. What if we built a muscle car for adults? The answer was perfection, and then it vanished into automotive history like it never existed. Number 7 is the car that refused to die. The 1978 Dodge Aspen RT Super Pack. 1978 was the automotive apocalypse. Emissions regulations had strangled performance, gas prices were through the roof, and most muscle cars couldn't outrun a golf cart. But Mopar said, "Not today, Satan," and built the Aspen RT Super Pack. Yeah, it had stripes and louvers. Typical 1970s dress-up nonsense. But underneath was something special. A 360 V8 with performance heads, a dual exhaust system, heavy-duty suspension, and a 3.21 rear end that meant business. While other manufacturers were building 140 horsepower performance cars, the Aspen was cracking 16-second quarter miles. That might not sound impressive now, but in 1978, it was like finding a machine gun in a world of slingshots. Car and Driver wrote that it had the heart of the old muscle machines. But nobody was listening because the body had some quality issues and the emissions equipment choked the fun. Still, in a dying performance landscape, the Aspen kept the flame alive when everyone else had given up. It was the last gasp of old-school American muscle, and most people missed it completely. Number 6 is the engine combination that real Mopar fanatics know was better than the legendary Hemi, the Plymouth Roadrunner 446 pack. Everyone talks about the 426 Hemi, and yeah, it was incredible. But the 446 pack was where the real street magic happened. 3 Holley 2-barrel carburetors, 390 horsepower, and a face-melting 490 pound-feet of torque that hit like a freight train. Here's what made it special. The Hemi was a high RPM screamer that needed to be wound up. The 446 pack was a low-end monster that would rip your face off from idle. Tested in period, it pulled 13.5 second quarter miles and sounded like the world was ending. But here's the kicker. It was cheaper than the Hemi, more reliable than the Hemi, and on the street it was often faster than the Hemi. The 6-pack didn't need to rev to 7,000 RPM to make power. It made power everywhere all the time. In the collector world today, Hemis sell for stupid money while 446 packs can still be found for reasonable prices. It's the ultimate insider's muscle car, the one that people who actually race these things knew was the real deal. Number 5 is the vehicle that made sports car owners question reality, the 1978 Dodge Lil Red Express. Look at this thing. Bright red paint, fake wood paneling, vertical exhaust stacks poking through the bed. It looked like a novelty, a marketing gimmick, a truck trying too hard to be cool. Everyone laughed until it smoked them. Under that ridiculous hood was a 360 cubic inch high-output police interceptor, V8 with no catalytic converters, because trucks didn't need them yet. The result? The Lil Red Express was officially the fastest American production vehicle from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 1978. Let me repeat that. This truck was faster than the Corvette, faster than the Trans Am, faster than everything. Car and Driver tested it at 14.7 seconds in the quarter mile, which was quicker than 90% of the performance cars on the road. It was a muscle truck before anyone coined the term, and it embarrassed every sports car owner who got gapped by what looked like a contractor's work vehicle. The Lil Red Express proved that Mopar's sense of humor was as twisted as their engineering was brilliant. Number 4 is proof that Carroll Shelby didn't just make Mustangs fast. The 1986 Dodge Shelby GLHS goes like hell some more. This looked like your mom's grocery getter, a boxy, boring compact car that screamed economy transportation. But Carroll Shelby took one look at Dodge's L-body platform and saw potential for chaos. 175 horsepower doesn't sound like much until you realize it was pushing less than 2,200 pounds. The power-to-weight ratio was better than most sports cars, and the handling was dialed in by the man who built Cobras. 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, faster than a Mustang GT of the same era. Magazine testers said it was more brutal than anything Ford was building, with handling that put European sports cars to shame. It out-accelerated, out-handled, and outsmarted everything in its class. But here's the beautiful part. Nobody took it seriously. While Mustang and Camaro owners were comparing horsepower numbers, GLHS owners were quietly destroying them at autocross events and drag strips. It was the ultimate sleeper, a car that looked slow but moved like lightning. Today, clean GLHS examples are worth serious money because collectors finally figured out what Shelby knew all along. Sometimes the best performance cars come in the most unexpected packages. Number 3 is the car that proved luxury and performance could coexist. The 1979 Chrysler Cordoba with the 400 cubic inch V8 option. Everyone remembers Ricardo Montalban talking about rich Corinthian leather, but nobody talks about what happened when you check the right option box. The 400 V8 turned this luxury cruiser into something special. Not fast by today's standards, but in the smog-choked malaise era, it was a hidden gem. Real torque, rear-wheel drive, and suspension tuning that actually let you push it through corners without embarrassing yourself. It wasn't marketed as a muscle car, it was sold as a personal luxury coupe for successful professionals. But behind those opera windows and hood ornaments was Mopar's stubborn refusal to build slow cars. The Cordoba 400 was the automotive equivalent of a businessman who could bench press 300 pounds. It looked civilized, acted refined, but had the strength to surprise anyone who underestimated it. In an era when most manufacturers had given up on performance, Chrysler was still building cars with character. The Cordoba proved that even in the darkest days of American automotive history, Mopar never forgot how to make cars that could move. Number 2 is the car that made BMW engineers lose sleep. The 2006 Chrysler 300 CSR-T8. When Chrysler brought back the 300 nameplate, they didn't just revive a badge, they reignited a philosophy. The SRT-8 packed a 6.1-liter Hemi with 425 horsepower, Brembo brakes, and the attitude of a heavyweight boxer in a business suit. 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, quarter mile in 13 flat, and enough low-end torque to make a BMW M5 nervous. But here's what made it brilliant. It looked like a car your accountant would drive. GPS navigation, heated leather seats, premium sound system, all the luxury appointments you'd expect from a $40,000 sedan. But underneath was pure American muscle DNA. The SRT-8 didn't announce its intentions with wings and stripes. It whispered violence in a deep, Hemi-powered voice. European luxury sedan owners got a rude awakening when this American barge would walk away from them at stoplights. The 300 CSR-T8 proved that Mopar had learned to build sophisticated muscle, cars that could embarrass a Porsche on Sunday and take you to a board meeting on Monday. Most people saw a luxury sedan. Real enthusiasts saw a wolf in Armani clothing. The 300 CSR-T8 was Mopar's declaration that they were back, and they weren't playing games. Number 1 isn't just the greatest Mopar ever built, it's the most insane production car in automotive history. The 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon, 840 horsepower on race gas. Let that sink in. 840 horsepower from the factory, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, faster than most supercars, quarter mile in 9.65 seconds at 140 miles per hour. These aren't modified car numbers. This is what Dodge sold you at the dealership. But the numbers only tell part of the story. The Demon came with drag radials, a line lock system, a trans brake, and a toolkit to remove the passenger seat. Dodge literally built a street-legal drag car and dared the world to keep up. The NHRA banned it from competition without a roll cage because it was too fast for their safety regulations. Think about that. A factory car was banned from drag racing for being too good. You didn't just buy a Demon, you got a crate with tools, a narrow front wheel set for weight transfer, and one seat unless you paid an extra dollar for the passenger seat. It was Mopar's middle finger to physics, common sense, and anyone who thought American muscle was dead. The Demon wasn't just the final form of the muscle car, it was proof that when Mopar decides to build something special, they don't just break the rules, they obliterate them and dance on the pieces. These 10 cars tell a story that goes beyond horsepower and quarter-mile times. They're proof that while other manufacturers chased trends and marketing demographics, Mopar chased one thing: pure, uncompromising performance. From a Dart that could embarrass supercars to a Demon that redefined what fast meant, These cars share a common thread. They were built by people who understood that sometimes breaking the rules is the only way to make history. Mopar didn't just build cars, they built legends. And while the automotive press was busy covering the obvious stories, these monsters were out there proving that the best performance often comes from the most unexpected places. The next time someone tells you American cars can't compete with the world's best, show them this list. Because Mopar didn't just compete, they dominated, they innovated, and they did it all while everyone else was looking the other way. If this video opened your eyes to the forgotten legends of American performance, smash that like button and subscribe for more untold automotive stories. Which of these Mopar monsters surprised you the most? Drop a comment below and let me know which one you'd want in your garage. And remember, real enthusiasts don't follow the crowd. They find the diamonds in the rough, the legends that history forgot, and the cars that changed everything without asking for permission. Until next time, keep the rubber burning and the legends alive.